I never thought a single piece of paper could change how I see my family forever. Winning $300 million sounds like freedom, but that night it felt like a test. Before the money, family dinners were loud, warm, and predictable. After the money, every smile felt heavier and every question felt sharper. I checked the lottery ticket alone in my car with shaking hands. Each number matched like fate tapping me on the shoulder. My chest felt tight, my vision blurred, and I laughed and cried at the same time. I sat there for a long moment, staring at the ticket, wondering who I was now. I thought about my childhood, about shared meals and borrowed dreams. I thought money would fix things. I never imagined it could complicate love. Driving home, I kept rehearsing conversations that had not happened yet. I knew I could not tell my family over the phone. This kind of news deserved eye contact and real reactions. So I planned a family dinner without explaining why. Messages went out and replies came back full of curiosity. My mother asked if I was okay. My sister joked that I sounded serious. My uncle said he would never miss free food. All day I cleaned the house like I was preparing for a storm. I cooked familiar dishes to keep things feeling normal. Inside my head, nothing felt normal anymore. I practiced breathing slowly to calm my racing heart. I told myself they are family, they love you. Still, fear sat quietly in my stomach. When the doorbell rang, my hands started to sweat. One by one they arrived, filling the house with noise. Laughter, hugs, teasing, and questions filled the air. No one knew they were stepping into a turning point. We sat around the table just like always. Plates passed hands, reached, stories overlapped. I watched their faces, trying to memorize the moment before. Before expectations, before tension, before change. My father talked about work, my aunt complained about prices. My cousin scrolled on his phone, barely listening. Everything felt painfully ordinary. I cleared my throat but said nothing yet. The words felt too big to release. I wondered if silence could protect us a little longer. But secrets grow heavy, and mine was crushing. I looked around the table and realized nothing would ever be the same. This dinner was no longer just a dinner. It was the beginning of a story none of us were ready for. The room was full, but I felt completely alone. My heart was beating so loud I thought they could hear it. I picked up my glass just to give my hand something to do. Everyone slowly noticed the change in my face. The talking faded and eyes turned toward me. I took a deep breath and felt the weight of the moment. I told them there was something important I needed to say. Jokes stopped, smiles froze, and curiosity filled the air. For a second I wished I could rewind time, but the words pushed themselves out. I said I won the lottery. At first there was silence, like the world paused. Then confusion, laughter, disbelief all at once. My sister laughed, thinking it was a joke. My uncle leaned forward, asking how much. My mother stared at me, trying to read my eyes. I repeated it again, slower this time. I said $300 million. The room exploded with noise. Chairs moved, voices rose, questions flew. My aunt covered her mouth in shock. My father went quiet, his face serious. My cousin finally looked up from his phone. Everyone talked at the same time. They asked when, how, where, and why. I felt overwhelmed, like I had opened a floodgate. Excitement filled the room, but so did something darker. I could feel expectations forming in the air. Dreams that were not mine started floating around the table. My uncle joked about quitting his job. My aunt talked about houses by the beach. My sister asked if I was scared. My mother asked if it was safe. My father asked about lawyers and taxes. I nodded, smiled, and answered what I could. Inside I was panicking. This was only the beginning, and I already felt tired. Food went cold as money became the only topic. I noticed how fast love turned into plans. How quickly my win became our win in their minds. I wanted to be generous, but not consumed. I wanted to help, but not lose myself. As the dinner continued, the questions became more personal. Hints replaced jokes, and jokes became requests. Someone mentioned debts, another mentioned opportunities. I felt like the center of a spinning wheel, pulled in every direction without control. I smiled through it, but my chest felt tight. This money was supposed to feel like joy. Instead, it felt like responsibility settling in. I realized sharing the news was harder than winning. And the night was far from over. The dinner kept going and the conversation got more intense. I stayed quiet listening to everyone but noticing every changing expression. At first there was excitement, but soon it turned into calculations and expectations. My aunt started talking about all the dreams she could finally achieve. My uncle kept pitching his business ideas, as if this money existed only for him. My parents sounded worried more than happy. They were thinking about taxes, investments, and responsibilities. My sister kept glancing at me, trying to read my reactions, as if she wanted to understand who was genuine and who was just seeing an opportunity. My cousin had always been a little jealous, and it showed now. He laughed, but the laugh was hollow and full of envy. I remembered childhood moments when he always felt behind, and now his patience seemed to be running out. My grandmother was different. She stayed quiet, but smiled proudly. Her eyes were full of love and pride, not for the money, but for my success. The conversation was no longer about dreams, it was about expectations and responsibilities. Everyone seemed to be putting their needs and hopes on me. Some said I should take care of everything. Some reminded me that family always comes first. I felt like I wasn't really at the table. They were looking at me as if I were just my wallet. Every word added weight. I realized money doesn't just bring freedom, it brings pressure and tests your patience. Food went untouched. As the room got louder and louder, I could feel tension building with each request and suggestion. I was being pulled in every direction, trying to smile and stay polite. But inside I was exhausted. I had thought this money would bring happiness, but instead it brought the heavy responsibility of managing everyone's expectations. This was just the beginning, and I already felt overwhelmed. The tension in the room kept rising as more family members voiced their plans and dreams. My aunt talked about a big vacation. My uncle pushed his business proposal again. My parents started discussing taxes, insurance, and investments, trying to sound calm, but their worry was obvious. My cousin kept making small comments under his breath. I could feel the jealousy simmering. My grandmother kept smiling, but I could tell she was worried about how everyone was reacting. I tried to keep the conversation light, but every suggestion turned into a request. Every time I said no, someone argued or tried to convince me otherwise. I realized this money was changing how my family interacted with me. Some were supportive, some were pushy, some were quietly calculating what they could get. I felt like the center of a storm, and I had no shield. My sister tried to mediate, calming everyone down, but it was like pouring water on fire. My father kept bringing up responsibility and legacy. He wanted to make sure we did everything right. I wanted to nod and agree, but my mind was spinning. I thought about setting limits, but how do you say no to family, especially when they think you owe them everything? The night went on and the requests got bolder. My uncle brought up his family, this time making it a group appeal. He wanted me to invest in his business, which I had already declined. Once my chest tightened, and I realized I needed to take a stand. I could not let my generosity be taken for granted. I had to protect myself while still being fair. The pivotal moment came when I looked around the table. Everyone was watching, waiting for my answer. It felt like seconds stretched into hours. I took a deep breath and spoke with determination. I told them I would help family members, but not by handing out money freely. I would set up a foundation to support needs fairly and responsibly. The room fell silent. I wasn't sure if I had made a mistake. Then something unexpected happened. My grandmother smiled warmly. My sister nodded slowly. Even my cousin looked surprised, but quiet. My parents seemed relieved that I had a plan rather than giving in to chaos. The tension eased slightly, and for the first time that night I felt some control returning. This dinner had taught me that money changes family dynamics instantly. It creates opportunities and pressures, it tests patience and relationships, but it also showed me that boundaries and clear decisions are possible even in the middle of chaos. If you want the final part where I share how the night ended and the lessons I learned, reply with. By the time dinner was winding down, the room was calmer, but the energy was still heavy. I looked around at my family and realized how much this one night had changed us. Everyone had revealed a side I had never fully seen before. Some were greedy, some were hopeful, some were scared, some were proud, and some were envious. The money had acted like a magnifying glass, showing the best and worst of everyone. We slowly started clearing the table, talking about normal things again, but I could feel the unspoken tension still lingering. I realized that winning $300 million was not just about freedom, it was about responsibility. Responsibility to myself and to my family, responsibility to set boundaries and make decisions that everyone could respect. I finally understood that money could not solve every problem, nor could it buy unconditional love. I felt proud that I had set a clear path. My foundation plan meant I could help where it was needed without being taken advantage of. I could support dreams without losing myself. I smiled at my grandmother, seeing pride in her eyes. My sister whispered thank you and squeezed my hand. My cousin still looked uneasy, but I knew he would come around. My parents nodded quietly, seeming relieved that the chaos had an end. Walking away from that dinner, I felt a strange mix of exhaustion and clarity. I knew that my life had changed forever, but also that my family had a new understanding of how we would handle this wealth together. I realized that true wealth was not the money itself, but the trust, respect, and love that I could nurture even in difficult circumstances. Winning the lottery had given me choices I had never imagined. I had learned that saying no does not mean being selfish, it means protecting your peace. The night had been chaotic, overwhelming, and emotional, but it was also a lesson in leadership and compassion. If you have ever experienced family tension around money or sudden wealth, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know how you would handle a situation like this. And if you want to see more videos about managing sudden fortune, check out my next story where I explore smart financial choices for lottery winners. This experience taught me that money can change everything, but it does not have to destroy love and relationships. With the right boundaries, clear plans, and understanding, you can keep your family and your peace intact. This marks the end of the story and the beginning of a new journey in life with wealth, responsibility, and wisdom.